got yours, I got Mayor's, I got.
Well, they have, you know, the fixed assets, they have all the regular, you know,
However.
So a couple of, I'm excited to work. You should be up, well, this is what we do. We probably sneak out.
We always said we only need 4 for Junko. That we take some of them. 6 for Junko, yes, if we get them. We'll have some.
Because it's, the cluster culture still be a slice in there. Yeah, yeah.
I just was curious. Now that you've said that, you know.
I just didn't think about it because I just didn't.
I can look at your own.
I don't want to.
No.
Right, no, I know.
On Sunday, and then I'll be back.
It's sitting up there on the, table.
Good.
Unless they bought it, if there's not any left, let me know and I'll make some more.
It's okay, because I can't get into my garage.
Yeah, really.
We're already there.
We went 16 days.
Yeah, I was away during that period.
It'll be
next 6 days. That would be an
What not to do again.
You did not put K on there before.
What?
You didn't put K last
No.
for 3 years ago.
He's-
Okay.
School and he's like,
Sir?
what do you think? Like, how do I know you?
I'm very proud. I know. I'm like,
I know, she is.
Okay.
Hey. I didn't see it. Excuse me.
You can stretch out. I will give you a little space. Morning.
Morning, sir.
Meetings, but we had to change those numbers to monitor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I like this. Ah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm all in. Thank you. That is a lot. A lot of water.
We're ready.
You all set? Okay, we're going to call the commission meeting for Friday, November 14th, 2025 to order. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for
all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green,
Here.
Commissioner Canfield.
Here.
Commissioner Orthwyne. Here. Vice Mayor Stanley.
Here.
Also present and participating today is Town Manager Dunham, Assistant Town Attorney Nazaro, CFO Bymaster, Chief Jones, and myself. Absent with notice is Mayor Morgan.
Next on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from October 10th, 2025. Any changes, additions, or comments?
No, I move to approve.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Town manager, are there any changes, or Trey, any changes to the agenda today?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor, we are getting our auditors here today to make a report to us. And we're adding that after number 7, communications from the public. After that item.
7A, auditor report.
Yes, sir.
Any other changes?
No, sir.
I've got the regular meeting scheduled for the next 4 months, December 12th, January 9th, February 13th, March 13th, if you want to note those on your calendars. Next up is communication from the public. Anybody like to speak on any non-agenda item today? Yes, Mr. Burns.
Yes, please.
Yes, please, if you can step up to the mic to be on the record. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Bob Burns, 3312 North Ocean Boulevard. I'll bring up 2 things. One is, some of you may know, and some of you may not know, I walk pretty much the area from Lakeview down to Gulf Road and so forth. I do a loop just about every day, sometimes twice. And one of the things that I've noticed is about the curbing. And I'm just going to call it the curb, the part that comes up and not necessarily the valley. For whatever reason, there seems to be some inconsistency that there's a high curb on one side of the corner and none on the other. And maybe there's a reason for that. I don't quite understand it. So I want to bring that up. I would hope that anybody on the council that has a problem with these curbs will take a ride around and look and see, is it better to have maybe these things that don't look so wonderful, these curbs, or to have the corner all beat up because cars are running over them and the grass is messed up most of the time. So I'm going to suggest that there's places that don't need this curbing. But for example, another good example is the corner of Lakeview and Polo. There's a curb going on the north side, but not on the south side. If you look over right in front of the police station, I mean, Chief, in trying to keep the place looking good, actually they put up some cones out there because everybody was cutting the corner. Now the curb is up there and it looks pretty good and it's effective. And I just would like to point out that there's other places. Another good example where there's no curb that I think would be needed would be Gulfstream Road and Gulf Road on that corner going west. I'm sorry. So I just think that maybe while they're here and while you got this thing going, it might be a good opportunity to look at that. The second thing is, back of my house is oleander. We had 16 days of boil water, and I know there's issues on oleander between Florida Power and Light and breaking the water main and everything else. I don't know exactly what it is, but I would hope that it can be addressed so that we can get that taken care of. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any work done on oleander for at least the last 10 days because of some kind of impasse. So I'm just pointing this out. It doesn't affect a whole lot of people from what I understand, but I can tell you that we had 16 days of boil water and I think we've just finished another one. Are we okay now?
No,
You
you're
know,
not. No.
we're still not
We're still
okay?
in boil water until
Okay,
I
so
notify
then
you.
that started again. So those are just a couple of things. And I understand that you guys can only do so much. So I'm not here, excuse my expression, bitching at you. I'm here to point out some things that I think that maybe need to be addressed. And if you can do something about it, terrific. And if you can't, you can't. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Well, two of your comments are actually on the agenda, and I inspect those when I'm walking the dogs, those curbs, so we'll take a look at those again. We've noted them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 7A.
Wait just a second. I have a resident that wanted this read into the record
For public comment.
for public
Go
comment.
ahead.
I've got 2 emails from him. It says, I've been picking up trash, large and small, recently on the beach. This includes a metal street sign and a lot of plastic bottles, plates, etc. that wash up. There's also the sargassum that comes over from Africa and is sharp and stinky. Do you think the town would be open to discussing some type of beach cleanup program? It could be anything from periodic community cleanup days where we go out there with shovels and rakes, or having a tractor to sift clean the sand. Happy to put my time and money where my mouth is to support our beautiful community. Appreciate it. Thanks. And then yesterday, his assistant sent another email to add to this. And she said, Jason would like to kindly request that the town consider encouraging or requiring the apartment buildings along the beach to hire a private service to clean and maintain the beachfront areas adjacent to their properties. If such a service is already in place, he would appreciate knowing which company handles it and would like to connect with the apartment buildings if possible.
Understood.
I told him I would pass it on to the powers that be.
Yeah, the beach cleaning. Typically, the multifamilies, I know down in Delray do hire Universal Beach to clean behind. And Universal Beach does the public beach. We obviously don't have a public beach, so.
Yeah, I know 4001 they clean their beach all the time. I don't know about the other multifamilies, but I do know that one does.
Well, we can look into it.
Sure.
It's only 4 or 5 more buildings. So, okay. Are we on the 7A? Auditors report. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Daniel Anderson. I'm the audit partner with Malden & Jenkins, who have overall responsibility for the town's 2024 fiscal year-end audit. You should have 2 items, I think, in front of you. One is the audited financial statements themselves. The second looks like this. It's called our auditor's discussion and analysis. My presentation is going to focus on that, and I'll try my best to identify the page numbers that I'm starting with. Really start on page 6. We perform an audit to issue our opinion on the fairness of the presentation of the financial statements. We have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest form of assurance. Yes, page 6 of that document, ma'am. We have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest form of assurance that we can render. Our audit was performed in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards as well as government auditing standards to support our opinion. Ultimately, management is responsible for the financial statements themselves. Our responsibility is to express an opinion based on our audit procedures. Additionally, in the back of the financial statement document, there are a few additional reports. One is a report that we refer to as the Yellow Book report, which is our report of controls and compliance with respect to laws, rules, and regulations. That's a negative assurance report, so we only identify findings of significant deficiencies or material weaknesses if we noted any within our audit. I'm happy to report that we did have no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses reported. Additionally, there's an independent auditor's management letter in accordance with the testing that we perform with respect to the rules of the Auditor General. They require us to perform certain procedures during our audit process. If we identify any issues in performing those procedures, those are documented there. We have no findings or recommendations within that report as well. So happy to report that. Moving now to page 7 with the required communications that we have for governance. Like the financial statements, management's responsible for the accounting policies that are set in note 1 of the financial statements. We evaluated the accounting policies selected by management and determined them to be appropriate in accordance with the accounting standards. Moving over to page 8, the financial statements do include a few significant estimates. The most significant estimate that your financial statements include are the depreciable lives of your capital assets, as well as the OPEB liability that you're reporting within the financial statements as well. So we evaluated those and determined that they were properly supported by adequate supporting documentation. We did review all the financial statements disclosures to ensure they have all the required information in accordance with the accounting standards. We had no significant difficulties with management in performing any of our audit procedures. We had no audit adjustments or proposed audit adjustments where management elected not to post that. I'll stop there. I think from your perspective, one of the main things that governance likes to hear is you have that unmodified opinion. I think this is just as important as well, because that means the information that Mark provided to us, we didn't have any adjustments to what he did. And that's not very common in governmental auditing that we perform. So I do just want to commend him for that. We had no disagreement with management over the application of any accounting policies or procedures. Moving to page 9, at the conclusion of the audit, we did obtain written representation from management over the information provided to us. We're not aware of management's consultations with other accountants, or what we refer to as opinion shopping. No significant issues discussed with management to bring to your attention. And Malden and Jenkins is independent with respect to the town and able to perform your audit. Moving over to page 10, while we didn't have any findings that we thought were significant deficiencies or material weaknesses, we do have 2 recommendations. The first is in regarding to the timeliness of the year-end close. Florida statutes require the audit be completed by 9 months after the fiscal year end. So that's June 30th of the subsequent fiscal year for the town. We were a few months late on that. We've already kind of talked to Mark, and we're starting to work on a plan to make sure that the town is in compliance with that. It's not what we refer to as a material non-compliance, because it didn't really impact the town as far as any intergovernmental revenues you receive or anything like that. But we do just want to recommend that we continue to work towards getting the audit completed by June 30th each year. Additionally, we perform journal entry testing as part of our audit procedures. And we noted that for 11 of the 25 journal entries we selected for testing, there wasn't documentation of an independent review and approval. This doesn't mean that it didn't take place. It doesn't mean that the journal entry wasn't appropriate. It just means that we can't come in as a third party and verify that that approval took place and the internal control was there. So recommend that we have a policy and procedure in place. I've already talked to Mark, and he said he's already established that for fiscal year 2025. Starting on page 11 and through the next several pages, just discusses some additional accounting pronouncements that are coming out in future fiscal years. I'll highlight just the first one related to compensated absences, because the GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, is changing how we account for compensated absences. And it's likely, in reviewing how the town currently accounts for it, that it might increase that liability for the 2025 fiscal year. So just want to kind of bring you aware of, that's going to increase your liability, which is going to reduce the government-wide net position. So just kind of want to bring that to your information. And, we've already started talking with Mark to ensure that the town's going to implement that standard appropriately. That's the conclusion of the presentation I have. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to serve as the town auditor, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Anybody have any questions from the commission? The auditor? Well, as we say every year, we're in pretty good hands, because Mark was our former auditor. Now our controller / CFO, and then we have our independent auditors, obviously, to comply with Florida law. So we're in pretty good hands on both sides. Any other questions, comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Next, we're on to item 8, reports, town manager.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We'd like to begin with the CIP update, and I would invite Eric Rush, engineer with Baxter Woodman, to come to the podium. I would first want to make a comment on the paving, look ahead paving that's going to be done probably next week. And we don't have a long list because they've done a lot of paving. But one that we do know that they're going to address is Oleander from the school to south to Banyan in front of the vice mayor's house. It doesn't mean because he's the vice mayor we're doing that before anything else. But so that's one. And then on Gulf View from Gulfstream Road to A1A, we're hoping that by the end of the week, they will have that.
That's the plan. Yes, just have that done by the end of next week.
Right. Let's see. So then I wanted to talk about our curbs and gutters out here in front of Town Hall and the police department. We've gotten some feedback from residents about the tight squeeze that we have there because of the F curbs that are in front of the PD and on the north side in front of the town hall. So probably turn it
Yeah.
over to Eric. Those were designed to some degree because of the elevation behind the curb. We do have F curbs in other places throughout the core where the elevation is difficult to meet up with the valley gutter. But there certainly are opportunities for us to change that F curb to a valley gutter, which would basically add 4 feet to the driving
2 feet
surface.
each side, yeah.
2 feet on each side, because with the F curbs, you really can't drive on those. But the asphalt, the width of the asphalt here is actually the same as it is on Polo. It's just this tight squeeze with the curb. So I know Eric has said that they can go back and look at alternatives that we can do. I mean, I guess the simplest is to take the F curb out and just replace it with a
With the
valley gutter.
Right, and I know that the concern with that, and I think the original intent for the F curb in this location was actually because cars were cutting across the corner and we're trying to keep them in the street and they were cutting across the grass. So
On the
we'll look at other options that could possibly mean.
So the gutter, the curbs have nothing to do with drainage plan. I mean, they don't help the water stream, you know, is it just appearance or is it functional?
It is functional. The F curb, and when I say F curb, it's the taller curb, the 6-inch curb.
Right.
Versus the valley, it'll channel the water the same. In a flooding situation, the valley gutter will obviously let it go to the back. In the situations where we installed the F curb throughout the town, a lot of the times it was to meet the existing landscaping. Like in certain cases, it was just grass, in which case we backfilled it. But there's a lot of locations where the landscaping was built up. And instead of having to harmonize and dig back into someone's property, we said, you know what, let's just meet the property edge. And that's why, to answer your question, that's why you're seeing it raise and lower. It's not necessarily aesthetic beyond the purpose of protecting the landscaping. As we mentioned on C Road, in this situation, it was to prevent cars from cutting that corner. But there's absolutely no reason why it can't be switched to a valley gutter. It'll still create a deterrent that will guide them through it, because no one wants to drive on the grass, and it'll give the more comfortable drive through the corner as you meet someone with that extra 4 feet each side.
I think down here, it's important. It just looks so small for the
Right.
passengers.
It
I talked to
does.
them,
It
and I mean,
does.
it's just, maybe it's illusion,
It
I
is.
know, but it
But
just,
it is, but it's
people
there.
don't want to ruin their tires, so they
course.
stop.
Of course.
And let one car go in front of another.
Yeah, and they're making a curve, so
Mhm.
they're more likely to drive on the gutter. So
So the 2 feet includes the valley gutter on each side.
yes,
Yeah. Basically,
Yeah, so-
it makes it a drivable.
So
surface.
there's like sort of 3 problems there. One, it's you're coming down the hill. 2, I don't think that most of the residents, because we only have the first lift on, are used to driving on a valley gutter. Like they
Right.
eventually try to stay off.
that's right.
Sure.
Well, once
Um,
the next layer's on, it's not gonna be an issue. It's gonna be
Yeah.
flush.
We
I mean,
flushed.
so it's gonna take away from the.
Chief, what do you think? Because optically, I think we got a letter from Gulfview of Gulfstream. Like I was there, I went down there on Sunday and I literally stopped, let a 150 come through and then went around. And I don't know what the spec is to even go wider. Plus you don't want people going too fast around there. We have so many people walking, dogs and everything.
It does force a reduction in speed, which is positive. But I think working with the engineers, maybe what could be done is if we're going to make adjustments anyways, we could create the valley gutter and then put an F curb on the side of the valley gutter. So you're widening it another couple feet and also adjusting for the vegetation
Right.
in the areas where we have enough right of way to do that, which obviously here we do.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Rush did mention that as an alternative, that we could, put the valley gutters in and put an F curb at the back of that.
Well, and even beyond that, if the town's willing to spend the money, we could literally widen the road and keep the F curbs as well as another option. I know that the right of way is kind of interesting in that section because the right of way actually goes straight west and then takes a 90 degrees straight south.
Right.
But obviously the road takes a curve. So it'd be everything in that area is owned by the town. So it wouldn't be that difficult to extend the limits and widen that. So that would be an additional.
Trey, is it possible to go a bit wide? Trey, is it possible to go a bit wider? The arc to 6 and then work with the chief on the traffic calming? We don't want people going too fast around there.
No, sure. I
We
mean,
only have one shot at it. We're not coming back and redoing it next October.
So, I don't, so at the end of all this, and before it's, the second or after the second lift, I mean, they do a punch list. And so, we've identified, gosh, Eric, how many valley gutters that need to be replaced?
A lot.
Maybe 35% of them or 40% of them have to be replaced. And so that would be the perfect time to be able to do this.
Yep.
If the commission would be good with doing that, because then we would have the subcontractor that's working on those valley gutters here, and we could just include this road when we're doing that.
Cost.
It's actually pretty minimal for a replacement of the curb and gutter. I don't have the exact numbers, but I can provide those to.
Yeah, I mean, we can.
would just be the bid items within the
Yeah, it'd be removal of
So,
concrete bid item. Yeah,
removal and replacement.
There,
So
yeah.
it wouldn't be.
Outrageous.
no, it would.
How come the valley gutters on phase 1, a lot of them were damaged? I thought they were going to fix it
They
on
will.
2, but they didn't.
They will. They
Well, I know they
Yeah.
did, but I thought they were going to fix it while they did the curve, the
Yeah, I
valley
know.
gutter.
Logically, you'd think
because some of
so.
them are cracking too. I thought
We found a lot of flaws in our contractor's logic. I'll just
okay,
leave it at
because
that.
they knew that they weren't working on the first phase.
I know. I agree with you completely. Their own equipment is damaging it. They're running heavy machinery over concrete that isn't cured. They're cutting corners. But the bottom line is the end product will be 100% good curb throughout.
Okay.
And then I think we'd like to just,
Is there anything
Wait.
to vote on with regard to the redoing the curb and the valley gutters, or is this a work order? It's internal.
I mean, we don't have anything right now before us, and
We
I
have
think
time.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely.
and then briefly touch on the,
Gulfstream.
yes.
Yeah, so you've seen the holes in Gulfstream Road, basically throughout the length of it. The contractor at their own expense was investigating a water leak in their newly placed line. That's why you had a number of holes. They were trying to find it. They finally found it at the very end of all their excavations. They will be going back, and because they restored them temporarily, they will need to excavate that material out, put in new geogrid to protect it from the unsuitable material and flowable fill. But you will experience more closures on Gulfstream Road. We don't have a schedule yet for this work, but it'll be quick work. They'll probably just go block by block as they do that.
Are they going to patch the
Everything will be,
Topping?
yes, exactly.
So
Or
is
are they
that
gonna wait?
a full excavation by section to put the new grid down and then a new first lift?
Yeah, I
and
think
some more
they'll
materials?
need to go down, I believe 24 inches. I'll have to look. But yeah, they got to get down to the geogrid and then put the flowable fill on top of that. But because they're using flowable fill, the process will actually be quicker as opposed to doing backfill with limestone where you have to take densities and make sure compaction, flowable fill, they just fill it. And we know it's good material. So
Is that starting from Lakeview or Gulfview?
I think it actually goes all the way down to Gulfview.
Yeah,
I believe it's south of Middle at least. So
And we're not exactly sure when.
yeah, we don't have a schedule yet for that work. It's
Okay.
gonna
Can we
start.
work with the schedule? Are they, so we can maybe not do it in the middle of the President's weekend?
Yes, exactly.
Or Halloween.
Yes.
Or Halloween? There
Agree.
you go.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Or Christmas?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I think the last item are the connections
access
at the
points, yeah. So
A1A.
one of the final large ticket items above ground outside of utility work is the tie-ins at A1A at Sea Road, Banyan, Lakeview, and at Gulfview. Those will require intermediate closures at one block at a time. That work is not yet scheduled either, but just to be aware, as you guys have been driving over it, you know that the elevation still needs work, that the grade isn't smooth yet. So that is upcoming.
And one of those is C Road, right?
Road, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're connecting, the pipe crew's connecting into the line.
Actually,
on
this
the
is,
line.
I think there's one water line, and forgive I'm more of the upper level at Baxter Woodman, but I know that the majority of that work is literally just the roadway grading work. I believe they have one water line connection at Gulfview to tie in, and that's it. So, and I believe they're maybe doing that on Monday, now that I think about it. So that should be it.
I would also like to thank the chief who, along with myself, mainly the chief, have been working closely with the contractors in not doing their MOT, but approving their MOT once they do it. And so the chief has been out there mixing that responsibility with the school traffic, but it's been necessary because the contractor, while they say they have an MOT, maintenance of traffic plan, their signage was not very well done, and so we've been out there early helping them do that.
I'd like to thank the chief too. He's done a
Oh,
much
he
better
has.
job.
Yeah.
And you don't see all these people turning around
Right.
about 5 times.
Right.
So you've done a great job. So thank you.
And so we also, I don't know how much we can rely on this, but in the early mornings, we work with the contractor to find out what streets will be open to A1A, so our residents in the Corps can know what roads are open. But sometimes those change even during the day, so that's what makes the MOT even more difficult, because they'll change their work pattern and then do the MOT or afterwards, and by then it's too late. So we're working with them to give us proper notice before and not allowing them to work until they have the proper MOT out.
Chief is on it.
And that's, unless there's any other questions.
Can we get just an update on what's going on? Mr. Burns referenced
We're
Oleander.
talking Oleander on this CIP, or is it later in the agenda?
No, I mean, we can, we can address only.
Yeah, so go ahead and discuss Oleander and what the plans are there.
Okay.
So I don't know how much of a backstory you need. Right now, we're at a contractual impasse with the contractor. We have directed them to proceed with work, and they are refusing to do so. We sent an email even as late as 4:30 yesterday afternoon, confirming that they are refusing to do the work. At which point we are going to work with the town to develop a strategy to where the town hires a contractor themselves to install a water line bypass. The issue we're having is that the existing asbestos cement pipe is very fragile, and we're doing an excavation right next to it to put in the drainage, and that pipe is continuously breaking. That's the reason for the boil water notice, of course. The contractor feels that we should be providing, as the owner in the town, should be providing direction to them on how to proceed, but contractually it is a contractor's responsibility to develop their means and methods. For us to assume and direct them with means and methods gives us liability to their performance, which we don't take. They have continuously refused to continue work. So with the installation of this bypass, that would allow them to excavate without risk of continuously damaging the water line, and they would, bottom line is they'd be able to continue working. So that's our latest strategy that was discussed even just minutes before this meeting to move forward.
Yeah, so the bypass line is going to run from basically the corner of Oleander and Banyan all the way up, most likely on the west side, and it's above ground. So that way there will be no more potable water orders for those residents on the south side of Oleander. The contractor can get in there and continue to do there, and there'll be a little bit on Lakeview. Contractor can get in there with their equipment and finish the rest of the work because of how tight the area is. So we're kind of moving on to a plan B with a third-party contractor to actually install that line, which we have a bid for, to get it moving. So we've been talking about it probably for a couple of weeks, and I think the staff has agreed,
Yeah,
as
we
long as
just
the
need to
commission
move on.
approves it today, to go ahead and move forward with that, taking matters a little bit more into our own hands to get the site conditions ready for them to get in there and work and finish up there, which is, part of the project that's been dragging. So,
And the cost of doing that will be passed on to the contractor who had put in a proposal to do this bypass, but it was way out of line in terms of the cost of it. So we do have a third party proposal to do it.
right. Yeah. And you've got two, the road's closed down. You've got two residents that are, when the construction's going on, you're not going to be able to use the road, but we'll talk to the Pelsons and the Deans on the west side there. Pelsons have a garage access to the back about possibly going underneath there, because the duration of the bypass line, we don't know how long it's going to be up there, but it's going to be for a number of weeks. And then obviously you can't cut over until the other lines are approved by the health, pressure tested and approved by the health department. So they could be up for a number of months. So I think the least amount of impact is going to be on the west side. And again, the one we're going to have to work here in the next week or so on a plan for the garage access once the lion's share of the work is completed, in the new year on the street. So I've been living it along with everyone else. I don't have any water pressure right now, but I'm not under a potable water order. My driveway's cut back, 5 feet further than it's supposed to be from the valley gutters. So I already moved, 100-foot hedge. So trust me, I'm in this with everyone else on Oleander.
Mr. Green, how's your water pressure?
And Mr. Green's there too.
Water pressure's okay.
Okay, your neighbor is Mr. Green too, right?
The new neighborhood, I haven't met him yet.
Okay, well, I've met him.
We are continuing to provide water though to those
Correct.
who are on
Correct.
potable.
Yeah,
So just let us know when you're out and we will have it delivered.
Just for the residents, this project has just been horrendous. It was the original water lines. Remember our 100-year anniversary last year? These were the original water lines, so they had to be replaced. And thank everybody for their patience. It's been a challenge, but they had to be done.
Mhm.
So just so I can understand, is this issue with the with roadway about liability or safety or both?
So the issue is that they've encountered what they're alleging are unfavorable conditions along Oleander with a fragile water line that is shallower than they anticipated. And the conditions make it difficult for them to perform the work the way in which they had originally designed. So we're having repeated water line breaks, and that's why we had to go on and boil water. So we stopped them working and said, we want to understand what you're going to do to prevent future water line breaks, because we can't just go out and fix a water line break every day. This is unreasonable. So what Baxter Woodman had said months before this was, you should, if you want, you should put in a bypass line so you can operate in this area, just heads up. So we're now getting to the point where they're realizing that, whoops, they should have done that, which we thought that, with some planning and forethought that would have happened. So we've backed ourselves into a corner now where they've realized that, wow, Baxter Woodman's advice was right. We really can't excavate in this area without performing damage. And because you've stopped us and told us to develop a better plan, why don't you develop the plan for us? So when Baxter Woodman tells them this is how to do it, then they're worried about assuming the liability for saying this is the way that you do it, and then something goes wrong. And then they say, well, listen, Baxter Woodman told us to do it that way.
Well, and even before that, in the spirit of partnering, we've made numerous suggestions to them, even as of weeks ago, to say, you should consider trying this, because we knew there was options to move forward, but the contractor was saying, direct us, as opposed to taking it upon themselves.
So an economic issue turned into a contractual issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So right now we do have a bid that I think the town manager wants to put in not to exceed $80,000, which is why we've sort of been reluctant to bring it forward. We were just going to have them continue to work in the area and take appropriate steps. And if we had to continue on to boil water, so be it. Go ahead and work. But like Mr. Rush has said, they're just refusing to work at all. I don't know if they wanted a change order in the exorbitant amount that's almost twice what we received from a third party, if they were waiting on that or what. But they have been working elsewhere in town, so that's good. It's just isolated to this one area on Oleander between Banyan and Lakeview, and then up at Lakeview. It's unfortunate, but on the plus side, we are seeing work being done around town elsewhere.
So this 80,000 will go back to the contractor because he did perform the work, correct?
What we are going to do is we are going to try to back charge that to the contractor, because this is something that they should have done if they felt like this was the way to do it and they were incapable of doing it the way that
Normally.
a different way.
I got it. But it would, my impression was back charged to
Yes.
them.
We are going to, yes, that we are going to fold that into a claim at the end of the
Right.
contract as part of, we do have our,
Settlement. I mean,
um,
at the end.
right, yeah. We do have our retainage, which is 5% of the contract. So we're going to, argue that that is something that they should be responsible for financially.
Yeah, this is the second circumstance that this has come about. So remember, we had the line from in front of the drainage line in front of Gulfstream School running to C Road, in which we got a third party bid and worked with the contractor to come up with a reasonable solution. Now that drainage line is in. This one we've been tracking for a number of days, and in order to get this moving in that area with a series of conflicts and everything else, I think this is probably the best option.
So will it be the same third party that we used before then? Or,
We didn't ultimately use the third party
okay.
contractor as a change order for that line
Oh,
ultimately.
okay, I got it.
This one,
Okay, they
this
did
one,
it.
this
That's
one,
what
they
I-
ultimately did it. This one will
Yeah.
be the third party for the bypass.
And the third party is the one that just replaced the water valve at the corner of Lakeview and Gulfstream Road that was leaking and did a very good job of it. So,
Tough box.
We replaced that valve in 28 minutes.
right.
He's worked for us before.
Yes, right.
So we just need a motion. Any more
We
comments?
we have another comment.
Yes.
Possible for me to talk for 1 second?
Yeah, but
Sure.
you need
Yes,
to
come
come to the
mic,
mic
sir. Certainly.
and state your name for the record.
Mark Pelson.
Mr. Pelson.
Mark Pelson, 3433 Gulfstream. And so we're probably the main house affected by all this. Really, the first question is, so when will we get access with this new plan to our garage? Are we talking weeks or months?
I think that would depend on the mobilization of the contractor from the town, and then the agreement to get our contractor back in there. I wish I could give you a time frame, but I would hope optimistically weeks and not months.
Okay, so, but
Because I thought,
what is your ability to get in and out of your driveway?
can't.
Can't now. You have 4 feet.
Can't.
You have 4
And
feet
Okay.
of contact.
One of our other issues, we spoke about, Greg and I, was,
Right.
so we're running out of gas, propane gas, because they can't get to our garage, which is where it is. So we're almost out. I spoke to FPU
Uh-huh.
yesterday, and they're like, we're not driving down that street, that road with our big trucks.
Okay.
They just won't do it. So I'm just saying there's other issues that are
Yeah, I
starting to
mean-
really affect us.
Eric, I mean, we just need to, do whatever's necessary so that truck can get in there. I've talked to Robert and Anthony. So what did FPU say?
Well,
Oh, they just said they
basically
just said
said
they
we have a
won't come.
35,000 pound truck and we don't want to,
Sure,
we don't want to go down that road,
yeah.
which
Okay.
I kind of
No,
understand. I mean, but we're running out of,
No, I
Yes.
know. That's so, okay,
Well,
so,
the chief and I talked about it because I'm about out of gas too. So what FPU is going to have to do, and I guess we'll have to circle back on it, is they're going to have to park on Banyan, which is now paved. And then they're going to have to run the line to your,
Up around.
I know where your tank is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're gonna have to run the line up and over. And hopefully the, the person with the line, the driver of the truck is gonna be able to get through there, because it's a bit
Okay.
treacherous unless they hop your fence.
Yeah,
So, 'cause we haven't had a refill either in 90 days.
it's kind of crazy.
And if we can coordinate a couple residents together
Sure.
that need the service, we
Right,
can,
right,
we'll assist in whatever way we need to get that truck in there.
right.
Okay, great. So I'm waiting to hear back from them on, I guess I set them up with you guys somehow and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
All right, all right. great.
That's a good suggestion. I would suggest that they call either or myself or perhaps the chief.
Because
They,
now that Banyan's done, it's got a lift on it. We have
Right.
what we can actually do a little bit. It was totally impossible before. We had a hole in the intersection for 2.5 months.
Right.
So I totally agree.
I mean, if they could come by town hall, it would be great.
Okay.
We could work something out with our inspectors and get them access.
Okay, great.
The
So
chief's
that-
right, so we can perhaps do more than one at the same time.
All right, great, appreciate it. And I guess the last issue is not even an issue, our sewer line collapsed. But I don't know if it was when they were doing all the work, so we just paid our $21,000 bill on that. Theoretically, it was on our side, so I guess it's us, but it seems like a coincidence.
Send us the bill and we'll look at
Okay,
providing it to the contractor and seeing if we can tie that into any damage.
Where
they
did it
were-
collapse on coming out of the
Yeah.
grinder tank on the front of your
Yeah.
house?
yeah, between that and the house, so that's why, but I don't know if it
Mm.
was just the reverberations, the pounding caused I have no idea.
We can,
So,
yeah,
it's,
we
That's
can
on-
look
that's on
into
your
it.
West side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the front.
So anyway, it's been a
So
long
we'll take a look
project.
at it.
I know you're doing everything.
We'll
you
take a
can,
look at
so I
that.
appreciate it.
That's the first I've heard of the grinder tank issue
Yeah.
with the line.
So anyway,
Thank you.
Thanks. Uh,
So
Yep, that's,
So we need to make a motion to approve the staff and Baxter Woodman pursuing the design with our third-party vendor for the bypass lines with a cost not to exceed 80,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green?
yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley?
Yes. So we're on, does that conclude the CIP update or any more items
No,
we need
that's
to
it.
discuss?
That's-
All right, next is seasonal work under town manager reports.
Yes, sir. If you remember last year, the town suspended the prohibition of landscape companies coming in on Saturday during the season, which starts here in a couple of weeks, because they were just,
They
with
couldn't get into
all
the
of the
streets.
construction traffic, they just couldn't manage that. And so, I mean, we, the staff, think that construction, the large construction traffic has been greatly reduced from a year ago. And so we didn't know if you wanted to continue that or, that lifting that prohibition or.
What does the chief think?
I think you should continue to allow it until the construction is complete, only because although the vast majority of the large equipment is not happening like it was last year, we're still blocking pathways on a daily basis. We're not allowing people to park on one side of the road to do certain projects because now we have only limited pathway to get people in and out of detours. So I think it's still affecting, and all of that's happening during the week. So I think it could help alleviate some of the problems we're seeing with traffic during the week if we did permit them to work on Saturday.
I received probably 3 calls about this in the last couple of weeks. And so knowing what the chief most likely would say, I advised the residents. I said, we're sorry. We know you don't want the mowers and the leaf blowers on Saturday during the season. But most likely it's better to have
That's
them
fine.
out on Saturdays until probably, the spring, which is when the
Sure.
punch list work
And that's
starts.
fine. We just wanted to bring it up.
There will be some work to recalibrate all the vendors and
Correct.
contractors not to come on Saturdays because we're,
They're used to
almost
it.
2 years, it's ingrained
Right.
with some of their routes to be on Saturday, but we'll cover that in spring.
So the other thing I'll mention is that in doing this MOT and understanding the roads that are available to leave the core, the contractor, it's not unusual for the contractor to park one of their big trucks on one of those roads, and we have to go tell them to move them out because that's the only way
It's
in.
constant.
I know. So anyway, so that's
Okay,
That's
so
our
we'll maintain the Saturday
okay.
work for the vendors and lawn personnel.
What do they like being in front of your house?
No, well,
Yeah.
they park on the road, like they constantly park on the streets. And I thought when we started this, the idea was that they weren't supposed to park on Gulfstream, Polo, Lakeview, but they're just like it's lined up every day. And to the extent anyone is telling them to move, they're not. That's either not happening or they're not listening because the cars are there like, very consistently.
It's a constant battle of having them move, and then 10 minutes later, they're there again.
Back.
And then you get them off of one street, and 25 minutes later, they've moved 1 block away to a side street. And it's just, they will close an entire segment of road, for example, Banyan, between Gulfstream Road and A1A, and then they will park every truck that they have on Gulfstream Road outside of the closure.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't. It's not prohibited to park on the street. So
For a certain size vehicle.
there's no restrictions. And so the problem that we are constantly battling with them is the enforcement opportunity is simply a conversation. And that's where we end up having to leave it. And beyond that, as you all are aware, half of them do not communicate well with those of us who speak English. So it's difficult
true.
to even try to get the point across to them to teach them why it's important not to park that way. You have to find 1 or 2 of the other people that are on another location within the core to then get them to come and explain it. And by then the truck is now gone and moved to a different location. So it's just a constant battle with the lack of common sense by a company that should be professional and knowledgeable enough to understand that the processes of detours and MOTs include their vehicles. And that's where there's a huge disconnect, along with all the other issues that we know about.
And then when we get the MOT set up, unbeknownst to us, they'll change it and come and steal the sign that we're not aware of.
We will fix 1 intersection. We will move 2 intersections down to adjust signage. And by the time we get back to the original intersection, the signage that we had there has been moved to a different location. So it's like every hour
Is there anybody that we can get to dedicate to some of this through
at our meeting
February? Because the beginning of the season, I mean, we're in the shoulder season right now. Then we're heading into Thanksgiving, Christmas, and January. Is there any way we can? We're going to continue to work, including with the punch list items. Can we possibly look into? And I know we don't have the police have a lot more authority than a staff member or a third party, but can we look into?
I mean, there are maintenance of traffic
can we
companies
can we look into some
that, I mean,
a little bit of manpower to get through this season, if that's even feasible?
Whether or not they listened to us at the contractor meeting just Wednesday, we asked them to make a dedicated
Yeah, but
MOT person.
And I know the chief and the police are there, but the overall, the residents would probably be more comfortable if somebody was out there. I don't know if the person or the vendor will be bilingual or not, trying to move this along a little bit. It's been coming up routinely.
Yes.
And it's only so much the police can do. And they also have other duties, but it's
Right.
just pulling everybody in.
I mean, the maintenance of traffic is the contractor's responsibility, but I mean, there are MOT companies, right?
But he's not doing it, so
Yes, so we
Yeah.
did
we
discuss
have
it.
to do something to help our residents.
We
Right.
did discuss at our most recent meeting that there was the opportunity potentially for the town to hire a separate MOT contractor to address the MOT issues and then bill that back as well to the contractor at the end. And at that meeting, they assured us that they would begin communicating with us and have a designated point of contact within roadway that was their MOT person. And as of this morning, I did have that dedicated contact. And when we saw the deficiencies in the two signage issues, they jumped on it immediately and assured me that it would be resolved. However, that's one day. So, I mean, I think before we make a decision to look alternatively, not that
Let's
anything
see how
else has
this
been truthful,
works.
but we can at least evaluate the process and see, because even if we hire a third party to come in and provide the service, if the communication is not happening from the contractor to the third party, the MOT is going to be trash anyways.
Well, can you all get together on this maybe for the next commission meeting before we hit the height of the season? I don't know whether it involves the third party MOT person. I don't know if it involves us authorizing an additional officer on certain days, which falls under your purview, even though there might be possibly overtime issues, and see what you can possibly come up with. Really it's January, February, and probably a couple weeks in March, and see what we can come up with on this, whether we do it or it's a third party or whether it's through PD. Because I mean, you only have so many officers on shift, so I understand that.
I think though, since the chief has gotten more involved lately, it's a little bit better. I mean,
Yeah.
because
Last week and a
nothing
half.
was being
Yeah.
looked after.
Well,
So anyway, but I agree.
okay. Any other questions on this matter, MOT?
So, Mr. Vice Mayor,
Yes.
our Mark is ready to give an update on our loan and our situation with respect to that, if you would like to hear
Okay.
from him.
Sure, let's go ahead while we're running. Thanks, Mark. Go ahead.
Well, I updated some of the numbers for we got the 24 audit done, so we had the finalized numbers, and then I estimated the reserves for up to 9/30/2025. And even with the estimated of any future projects, I even added in a $1.5 million contingency with any type of change orders or changes in what estimates are in any future projects, and keeping the reserve balance at $4 million. It's currently estimated that the loan would require to keep that $4 million is somewhere between 2.5 million and 3 million, which is quite a bit less than the 7 million that we can borrow against, which would be an annual payment of anywhere between 250,000 and 300,000 for debt service, which is significantly lower than when we started with the $1 million estimate. So the amounts that the town's still healthy with reserves as respect to the audit, and it looks like that the amount that would be borrowed is quite a bit lower than what we originally estimated, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
And where are we on the flow? Where will we be on the cash flow with regard to the Boynton connection? Do we know kind of when that was, where we are on that?
We still have another 12 to 18 months before that next payment would need to be made. And I think it's under $1 million, maybe 750, but it's going to be the actual cost. The reason why it's taking so long is they're incorporating into a current project that's being operated jointly between Delray and Boynton. So we're utilizing that opportunity for some cost savings because they're already working in that area. But the final cost is to be determined, but I think we were looking at $1.5 million, and I think we've already paid the first 750.
Okay. Yeah, just so everybody knows, the capital projects with regard to the loan to assist the town are going to be obviously finishing the CIP and the core. This project we've been talking about all morning, the Boynton Beach connection, which is to connect the feed from Boynton on the line down Gulfstream Boulevard to our water pipe coming across here to switch over from Delray to Boynton. And then obviously we've got some work in Place Soleil for resurfacing and other road work there, which is on the schedule. So there's more capital projects than obviously just the one in the core we're all feeling, the those that live here. Any other comments on that? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is I think roof tiles.
Yes, sir. Most important thing in town. We got to talk about roof tiles. In all seriousness, the architectural styles here in Gulfstream are extremely important. They're laid out in the code, specifically Gulfstream Bermuda and Spanish Mediterranean Revival have specific guidelines for a number of different things, including roof tiles. So the Gulfstream Bermuda architectural style requires flat, white, through and through, smooth, uncoated to be approved by staff. If it's any variation from that, it does require, even just for a roof tile, review through the town commission and ARPB. We've been informed by a few roofing companies that the manufacturer of the flat, white, through and through, smooth, uncoated tiles discontinued that style in about 2022. So assuming there is no way for the required tile to be obtained and used, we're looking for alternatives that are acceptable, considering the current language in the code that's outlined in the memo that requires these tiles be, quote, uncoated, and also that a gray slate or similar slate-like color be acceptable in certain conditions. So the chairman of the ARPB, Mr. Lyons, is aware of this issue, as we do have, this came up because we had a Gulfstream Bermuda in Place au Soleil seeking approval for a tile, and we told them what they needed, and they said that they could not actually meet the requirements. So we're looking at whether or not we should maybe allow coated, or if we would allow some flexibility with the gray slate. Paul Lyons spoke to a roofer and said that the color coat is what it's called, is more resistant to mold than uncoated. But I guess maybe there is an aesthetic difference. So I do actually have some roof tiles that we've been provided with. This one is actually the one that meets the current guidelines that was provided by Paul Lyons. So that's sort of your code compliant tile. This is the coated that you can see is shiny, a little bit different, but does have the white aesthetic. And I'll refer you in the memo, the last 2 pages actually have a picture of a roof that the chief provided me with playing with his drone.
Yeah, that was my understanding when we ran into this a number of years ago, that there's a slight difference in shape. We call this a slurry coating in the old days when this product first came up, but there was a difference in the shape and obviously the texture and the color.
So you can see that, I mean, it is the exact same tile as sort of what we've been approving.
Yeah.
These are 2 of the same modeled white blend that is on the house on the last photo. So this shows you that, there's differences, and it does look, I mean, it's not a checkerboard, but there are variations when you look at the roof that do make it darker. So these are.
You're saying they don't make this anymore. It's not available.
Correct, right.
And that's available.
Yes.
And these are available.
Yes.
How come these are available and not this? Who knows? Is that true?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
we've looked into, I think.
Is that true?
I've called at least a dozen roofing
Uh-huh.
companies, and they all say the same thing. What is available is what is still in stock. So
Yeah.
they're saving that for repairs instead of whole roofs.
Oh, got it.
And she
Okay.
actually talked to someone and they said, of course this is available, no problem. And she said, great, can I have a sample? And they pulled their sample and they said, oh wait, actually no, it has been discontinued. So that's where that information came from. So I guess the question is, for the purpose of adjusting the code, is this acceptable because it keeps with that white aesthetic, or do we not like the shiny? And would we prefer something like this? And I'm happy to, because it's already been teed up before the ARPB, get their opinion on it and see if they have any suggestion before bringing forward a code change.
Well, we're running into an issue where, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but there's not a lot of white roofs coming through anymore.
This is true.
So you can conceivably, and you change your roof out every 20 years now, or 20, you can conceivably have a town with Bermuda architecture with no white roofs, which is something that's, that residents don't want to clean them. You get a code enforcement notice, you got to pressure clean, you got to do this and that where the others don't. So it's trending that way when there should be some balance, which also affects this type of product, which is a little better.
I think it probably should go back to the ARPB.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's up to them to give what they think. What do you think?
I think this product is on one of the club buildings. I don't recall which one.
That one?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. What do you all think?
To keep a white option, I think we should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
allow
agree.
this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should give them the option of having a white.
I mean,
tile.
selfishly, in a couple of years, I'm gonna need a white roof, so
And you want it white.
I can't imagine any other color on our house, so.
So should we provide any direction to the ARPB?
So I can just mention that you did find that the coated tile was acceptable, and it does keep with the aesthetic that we're looking for with the white roofs.
Right.
And
We want to encourage some more white roofs, on these projects and replacements.
Are these better coated than they used to be? Because I think the concern was they kind of hit it or something.
yeah, so Mr. Lyons, I guess, because I had talked to him about this, like I said, we've got this is before the ARPB for next week, actually. So we were talking about this issue, and he reached out to his roofer because I said one of the claims that someone had made was when you clean your roof, this coating chips off or
Sorry,
something.
yeah.
He said, no, it doesn't, and it actually resists mold more. So, we'll look into this a little bit more just to confirm that, but.
I think that was the biggest concern years ago, is it wasn't probably as well made
Mhm.
or wasn't as resistant to chipping.
Well, we've had to adapt on a number of things, including roof tile. Better products come out, you gotta adapt within the code. Does that conclude that item?
That's it. Thank you very
All right,
much.
Thank you. Next, you see the Architectural Review Board meetings, 20th, December 18th, January 22nd, February 26th. Finance Director, October 2025 report.
Yes, sir. This represents 1 month. And as you know, or should realize down here, we have 2 resolutions that we normally have in November amending our budget. And those will be discussed by Mark. But I would ask you to accept the 1 month report.
Thank you. Police Chief report.
I would ask that you accept the report. There's nothing unusual, no anomalies or anything that should be brought up. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for the chief? We're on to item 9, items for commission action. Baxter Woodman, amendment number 5. Trey?
Thank you, sir. We have Eric here from Baxter Woodman to present this item.
So I believe you were provided with 2 proposals. The first one, with a value of $123,000, was developed based on the current approved contract duration of the work on Gulfstream in the core area. That includes 2 full-time inspectors starting from the beginning of November through the end of December. And then we drop down to 1 inspector to cover the final closeout of the project. The other proposal is based on the contractor's suggested schedule, per se, which is a lot more conservative in his favor. That runs the schedule out until the middle of April. So the difference there is based on that extension of duration and the need for that accordingly. Now, that schedule is fiction right now, considered fiction just because it has not been approved. Those dates are the contractor's assumptions. As I mentioned, the only date that is important to us right now is February 28th is their current approved contract completion date. So as I mentioned, the amount is to cover inspection staff plus the supporting roles, myself, project manager, and any design support meetings, et cetera.
Trey, you got a synopsis again on the review on number 5, the 2 number 5s. So
Sure. So
April date, I have a comment, but go ahead.
So the first one covers the current approved contract schedule, which has a final completion date of February 26th. The other one covers the contractor's current project schedule, where final completion is shown as April. So the costs outlined in there are not to exceed.
And the fictitious timeline is the April date would also include the punch list work.
That's correct.
What's been
Yes.
discussed.
That would be us walking off. Yes.
Any comments or questions from the commission about the 2 options?
Sounds like the later option is going to occur.
Yeah. Any more comments from staff?
No,
So the later option, yeah, I think the later option is probably where we're going to land. We need a motion.
All right, so we'll need an option to approve amendment number 5 in a total of $215,272, which takes us through April of 26.
I have a motion for the contract running through April 2026 for Baxter Woodman as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Next, we are on engagement agreement for Hockman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Moving back from roof tiles to more of the CIP. So the town's engineer has rejected some proposed change orders submitted by the contractor, and per the terms of the contract, the contractor had a limited amount of time to file suit to challenge that determination. So they did file a lawsuit against the town to preserve their rights. We are recommending the engagement agreement with Johnson and Somo. Jeff Hockman is the one who would be handling this matter. We've worked with him on significant matters in the past, not only in public records matters, but he also would serve as the town's counsel through our insurance carrier. So when we had insurance claims, we used Johnson and Somo as well. This engagement agreement brings him on for the defense of this lawsuit from Roadway, as we do not have a continuing contract with this firm. So whenever we engage him in a matter, we typically execute an engagement agreement for that specific litigation. So this would be to cover that lawsuit.
Right, the rate's $4.50 an hour for partners, $300 for associates, $175 for paralegals, and we have a retainer of $15,000 that's due if we accept it, correct?
He has waived the $15,000 retainer, but
Okay.
yes, those rates are accurate and very competitive in the area, given the fact that, you know, it is municipal work. Typically, you are provided somewhat of a discount.
Comments or questions?
No, he's good. We've used him before.
Right.
So I would recommend we go forward with this, the motion, to go forward with hiring them.
That's a motion. Can I get a second to approve the engagement letter?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes. We have another engagement agreement. This is Dow Bolton Minor for those services.
Yes, these are for the services of Mark. As you know, he's been training Jessica to take over the many of the roles that he plays here for the town of Gulfstream. And I think that's we're having some success in terms of moving a lot of those responsibilities from Mark to Jessica. Mark, can you give us your opinion on how that's going?
Yeah, we're going through the process of training her to get through the journal entries, the monthlies, you know, the day-to-day,
Right.
where we're moving my role, hopefully in the near future, just back to doing review and then mainly just keeping the town records up to date on the GASB standards and continuing having clean audits.
Yeah,
So
preparing for the audits.
Correct.
And actually Jessica's up to speed on doing the trim, truth and millage.
yeah, we went through that with the
Work.
last process, so she'll be moving forward with that and for next year. And so hopefully in the near future, we'll a lot of those responsibilities will be moved
I
in-house.
think a lot of them by the end of this year.
Okay, great. So we're going to renew the standard contract for one more year with you all.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? We get a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Next item, annual Australian Pines maintenance.
Yes, not sure if you guys remember the name of this company, but they do our annual maintenance of the Australian pines. This is their proposal for this year. It includes pruning and tree removal where necessary, and other tree and shrub work that maybe is in conflict with our Australian pines. So this isn't necessarily driving down A1A with our Assistant Chief Hasley and looking at the limbs and branches that are hanging down too far from all of the trees. This is simply for the Australian pines. And we do have the money budgeted for this.
Yeah, it's essential to maintain the pines.
Yes, sir.
Pursuant to our canopy state law, we do it every year.
Yes,
So
sir.
can I have a motion to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract as submitted.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Next item is proposed changes for the employee handbook.
Good morning, Commission. I have been through the handbook as a result of some of the changes relating to the approval of the current year's budget, as well as the step plan, and also the negotiations that typically had gone into effect with the PDA previously. And some of the things that were contained within the handbook needed to be adjusted, and there were some things that needed to be added and or removed. You will see all of those edits in highlighted form in yellow. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. There is one specific issue that I need to bring to the commission's attention and kind of ask for guidance on. As we were going through this handbook, we noticed that there was some reference to the retirement associated benefits, that there was a separate manual that was referenced, but we did not know what manual that was. So we started trying to locate that, and ultimately we were able to find a copy of it from our current retirement vendor. And we noticed that some of the things that we had adjusted in the budget this year, specifically the retirement benefit for law enforcement who works overtime being part of the retirement calculation, is actually in conflict with the rules associated with our retirement plan. And the only reason it's in conflict is because when the plan was initially instituted, the box was checked that we would not compensate versus that we would. It's literally just a checkbox difference. So I would ask that we not move forward with approval of the handbook at this time, but I wanted some guidance from you all on whether you wanted me to communicate with the retirement company to find out whether that checkbox can simply be edited, or whether there is a more complicated process that we may not want to encounter. We do have to follow those rules because the IRS obviously is who establishes.
What's the plan year? Our fiscal year?
Yeah, I think that's how it would operate. Yeah, so we're
it's-
locked in
I
for.
believe it's January through December,
Okay.
I believe.
So so we're just gonna have to amend. So you're proposing that obviously the compensation does include the
Correct.
overtime
And we
part of
did,
your plan.
and we did budget for that in this current year, and that budget was approved. But we didn't realize there was going to be a conflict until we
The
got
plan
that
needed to be-
supplemental
Yeah, the plan
manual.
needed to be amended. So
Yes,
can we just, we'll probably have to approve something. Can we get something on the agenda to amend the plan? The retirement vendors don't move very fast. So it may not happen till We have to push it if we've got to approve a plan amendment. So I think we have to do it at the commission level.
Sure. Well, I think that the chief was concerned that this wasn't necessarily something that was mentioned before. You know, we now have some new information, so we can bring this back as an amendment to the handbook. You know,
And the plan.
and the plan, yeah, for
Contribution
approval.
plan,
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't really require any action at this point. I just wanted to obviously make you aware of it and also provide you with a copy of the handbook with the highlights so that when it was discussed in the future, you would have potentially material to ask questions about.
Thank you.
And the new one that's in front of you is the correct one because I failed to note that it was double-sided. So you only got single-sided in your agenda packets.
Okay.
So the new one in front of you is the correct one.
Okay, next on the agenda is Resolution 25-18.
Mark, can you just explain what these are two resolutions
Yes.
to,
And Resolution 25-19. which
Yes,
That's a different budget.
the first resolution's for the general fund, and it's just certain budgeted items, just kind of moving money around. That the entire budget wasn't increased or decreased. It's still the same. It's just between departments moving some funds around. And then the second resolution is just to establish the budget for the debt service fund that was essentially created when we initially got the first draw on the bank loan, since we had to draw to get the credit to 50,000. So it's just establishing a budget for that fund.
Okay, Renee?
Resolution 2518, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Florida, providing for the appropriation of budget revenues and expenditures in the general fund for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, providing an effective date of today, November 14th, 2025.
A motion to approve?
I'll move to approve resolution 2518.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley?
Yes. Next is Resolution 25-19.
A resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Florida, providing for the appropriations of budget revenues and expenditures in the debt service fund for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, providing an effective date of today, November 14th, 2025.
Motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2519.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Canfield?
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stanley?
Yes. That concludes the agenda. Any other comments? That town staff?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I would like to introduce our newest employee. Robert, could you just stand up for us? His name is Robert Paulin. He's our new water maintenance supervisor. We stole him once again from Lake Clark Shores. He was actually the supervisor of the last person that was here for a short period of time. So
Welcome.
we're very happy to have him. We've kind of thrown, he starts officially on December 1st, but he's been coming in for a couple hours each day. I believe he's here all day today, getting to know our walking GIS person, Wayne, in terms of where all of our facilities are located. So he's spending some time in the office and with Wayne. But he starts on December 1st. We're lucky to have him.
Great. We're happy to have you. We've got a lot going on, as you can see.
Oh, we've taken him out there, so he's already had some comments about it. But anyway,
Great. Well, welcome to the team. Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to have you. Any other
That's it.
comments?
That's all.
Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.